What's up, y'all? I wanted to share how I make my hair mist for hair growth and moisture. So I started off with distilled water and I just brought that to a boil. This is the best water I believe for your hair, just because hard water or tap water can make your hair dry due to mineral deposits. So I poured the water into a pot and brought that to a boil. Once the water was boiling, I began to add my herbs. This is kind of a hair tea, if you will. I did about 1/3 cup of hibiscus and lavender, then 2 packs of fresh rosemary. I don't always add hibiscus, but I did this time. If you do have lighter hair, I would not include the hibiscus because it can turn your hair darker if that's not your intention. So I'll list the benefits of the herbs in the comments, but just make sure you turn down the water once it is boiling because you want the herbs to steep. You don't want to boil them. Steeping the herbs allows for the extraction process to happen, so you get all the benefits of the herbs for your hair. I typically buy all my herbs at a local vendor or online, but in this case I use fresh rosemary, which you should be able to find at your local grocery store in the produce section near the veggies. Of course, you can use fresh ingredients for all of the herbs. I just use dried ingredients just because that's what I already had on hand, but dried ingredients work just as well as the fresh ones. So next I went ahead and while that was steeping, I moved to begin cutting up my next ingredient, which is aloe. And I will keep saying this, but aloe will make your hair grow, and that's going to be my new catchphrase because I promise you it's true. So I just cut off the base of the aloe and I removed the remainder from the white portion. That white portion I don't use, but I will show you what I do with the leftover pieces after. So aloe does produce a yellow sap called aloin, and it's not bad for you, but it does cause skin irritation and itching. So you want to make sure that you leave the aloe to sit and drain, and I will show you what the yellow sap looks like once it's drained. So while that was sitting in the bowl, I went ahead and strained my tea into a glass mason jar. I use a strainer to go ahead and keep any of the herbs from getting into the mist, because if you do leave the herbs inside, it's more prone to molding and going rancid faster. So you want to make sure that you strain those out. So this is what the aloin looks like. It's this yellow gooey stuff that you see at the bottom. So I just gave the aloe a wipe down and then just gave it a quick wash before I cut the sides off and began to prep the aloe in the blender. The top portion of the aloe is a little bit skinnier, so I also just store those in a bowl for later use. So then the easiest way for me to scoop out the jelly from the aloe is to use a spoon. Once all the aloe vera gel is scooped out, you can go ahead and blend that bad boy up, and you just want it to turn into almost a foamy consistency as you see in the video. So with the smaller pieces I cut up and stored in the bowl, I keep that in the fridge and apply that to my face daily as a moisturizer. Aloe is actually really great for collagen production and elasticity of the skin. It also helps with any wound or scar healing, and I make sure that I apply it to my lashes and brows also for growth and to keep them thick. Then of course I add the excess to my hair. My loctician actually uses aloe vera to retwist my locks, and she's pretty much all plant-based with everything she uses, which I'm a big fan of. Just because a lot of the products on the market aren't that great for your hair, and if you have locks, they tend to cause a lot of buildup, so I just try to keep it as minimal and clean as possible. I just apply the aloe all through my hair from root to end, and then I massage it in, just making sure my whole head is covered. Then I will take a soft brush to distribute the aloe and remove any pulp that may have fallen into my locks. I had to do a quick little growth check for y'all, show you what we're working with. They getting there, they're strong, they long, they healthy. To finish everything off, I went ahead and strained the blended aloe into the same jar with my other ingredients, and I followed that up with some tea tree essential oil. That is acting as our antimicrobial for the mist, just to help it last longer. But tea tree is also great for your overall scalp health, to keep it clean. It acts as an antibacterial and antifungal. And then lastly, I went ahead and added some rose water, which is just great for hydration and growth. Rose water is not only great for your hair, but it's also great for your skin. This specific brand I actually use in my skincare routine. I use it as just a mist, but they also have a toner that's really great as well. I make this mist about every 1 to 2 weeks. I haven't found anything that is plant-based that I can use to naturally stabilize it. So until then, this is what I'm doing. But if you guys go ahead and try this recipe, please let me know. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. Bye.